Let's go 76ers and Celtics first. Game 5, back in Beantown on Tuesday. Who do you got winning and why?
I am going to go with Boston in this one. And similar to what I said about how game 4 played out, even though that I think that Philly was the better team throughout most of that game, the fact that Boston damn near won that game really goes to show Boston's ability to be able to weather the storm and be able to persevere and damn near steal one in Philly. And I think, being back within the comforts of your own home arena, I think they're going to take Philly to task here. I really think that Boston's going to be able to respond, and they're going to be able to respond effectively. My main point when it comes to Boston is Jayson Tatum needs to be more effective in the first half. If he does that consistently in game 5, Boston should win this game by about 10 to 15 points, because you look back at that game 4 performance, he dropped 2 points in the first half. It's very uncharacteristic of Jayson to be that off in the first half. He stepped it up in the second half, don't get me wrong. But I think going into game 5, I think if you're looking at this from Boston's perspective, they got to feed him early and they got to get him into a rhythm consistently. And then on top of that, you got to look at guys like Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. I think respectively, both of those guys had pretty good game 4 performances. It's just unfortunate that Marcus hit that last shot in overtime about a half second too late, because he did knock down that late 3-point shot in overtime. It was just a tad bit behind the buzzer. So if they're able to get that type of consistency against Philly, that's going to serve them well. But if you're looking at Boston, Boston's got to find a way to slow down James Harden, and that's an understatement. There have been 2 games in particular where James Harden has popped off and has realistically saved Philly in this series. He had the 45-point performance in game 1. He drops 42 points in game 4, hits the game-winning shot in game 4 when Boston was up 2 points late in that game 4. You got to be able to contain him. You have to get him into a situation where it's representative of what we saw from James Harden in game 2 and 3, if you're looking at it from Boston's perspective, because James was off in both of those games. And on top of that, you have to be able to find a way to limit Joel Embiid. Even though that Joel is limited with that knee injury, he's wearing that giant knee brace, he still dropped over 30 points in game 4, even despite being limited. So I think the main thing is, Boston's going to have to be able to slow down effectively both James and Joel, which is a very difficult task because both these guys can score at will. And as long as they're able to effectively slow down Philly's role players, I think that Boston should win this game handily. And, if you're looking at it from a Philly perspective, you have to be able to continue the masterclass performances from both Joel and James Harden to be able to win this game 5. But your role players have to step up. Tobias Harris has to be more effective than scoring 9 points in game 4. Tyrese Maxey, I know he has the ability to go off for 20 to 25 points. You can't put up teen digit numbers when, honestly, he could definitely play at a higher level than that. It's just overall, Philly's role players are going to have to step up here. It goes without saying that this can't just be James Harden and Joel Embiid carrying this team to the promised land. It may get you an individual game here and there, but to get a series, that's not an effective formula for winning. And even though that Philly has tied this series at 2 games apiece, I think that Boston has been overwhelmingly the better team in this series. It's just that at certain points, Philly has really executed at the most critical moment to be able to get over the hump. But I think in this game 5 in particular, I think Philly loses this one. I think Boston secures this game 5 win at home, and they will go up 3-2 in the series, with game 6 going back to Philly.
I'm definitely going with Boston. I just think that they're going to have to make simple adjustments, but this is going to be solely dependent upon which James Harden you get. When Joel Embiid is on the floor, he's basically an unguardable force. We know that no matter what bodies they put on him, he provides a difficult matchup, whether it's Robert Williams, Grant Williams, or Al Horford. Joel's going to get his buckets, even on one leg. That's not a problem. But what James Harden is Philly going to get? Are they going to get the James Harden that is aggressive at the free throw line, consistently trying to have defenses collapse? Or are you going to get the James Harden that is chucking up jump shots, not getting back on defense? What we saw in games 2 and 3. So for Philly to be competitive in general, James Harden's got to put up 30 plus points. You've already seen that that's the only way for them to win. Now, when it comes to Boston, they have to get contributions like they've gotten from everybody, but Jayson Tatum is the key. He has to get it going early. He cannot have 2 points in the first half and then have to bombard everything to take away shots from Jaylen. That is usually my issue here. It's either one or the other that have a hot hand, and the other one gets cold to when the other one that has been getting cold wants to get back into a rhythm. It's too late. The other team makes a run, and this is how Philly has kind of stayed in these games. If both guys can get it going, I know there's only one basketball. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but Jaylen goes for his first couple shots. Jaylen has a good mismatch. That's different. But Jayson Tatum trying to force his way into an offense, it's just not wise. Get Jayson going early. Obviously, save Jaylen for the fourth quarter because that's when he thrives. He doesn't miss. He doesn't take bad shots. I think, truthfully, Boston can find a way to win. Obviously, Boston has had the better bench. Malcolm Brogdon has been absolutely incredible. I think that the paint presence that Philadelphia provides with the dominant force that is Joel Embiid has provided a kind of spark for Philadelphia because he's just performed very well despite having an injured leg. I believe that they're going to make it competitive. As long as it's not another blowout, to me, to be honest, I really don't care. But I do have Boston winning because I feel that they see Jayson struggling. They see Jaylen is going to be able to get out there and pretty much score at will because, to be honest with you, I think he's that guy right now in the playoffs. He doesn't really struggle. And even when he does, he doesn't really force many shots up. So I got Boston winning another nail biter. I think that Jayson and Jaylen are going to go for 30 apiece. And I do think that Malcolm Brogdon is probably going to put up anywhere from 15 to 20 points like he has been off the bench. Marcus Smart is critical as well. Got to keep him on the floor, keep him out of foul trouble because we know that he is very pesty. We know that he can get involved with the scuffles and kind of just to disrupt James Harden's overall flow. But again, I got Boston winning game 3 in Boston.